For centuries, London, like many of the world's greatest cities, has attracted thousands of musicians to perform in its streets, its alleyways and its tunnels. For some musicians, busking is simply a hobby. For some, it's a way of being paid to rehearse, but for many, it's a vital means of survival. Last year, the London Underground introduced a licensed busking scheme, and there are now over 400 musicians eligible to play nearly 40 pitches in the Tube, as well as those who choose to remain above ground in the streets and squares. A year or so ago in Covent Garden and here in the South Bank, I began to notice the quality and range of London's musicians and decided we should look at them more closely. Archie Powell's film follows the stories of 4 musicians who've chosen to earn their living busking in the capital.
You immediately hear the word busker and you think, oh, some down and out, roughing it on the streets.
It's not just musical ability. You've got to have a lot of positivity about yourself to put yourself in front of the public.
For me, playing on the Underground is not just busking, I'm doing a gig. So I want to make sure to do the best job I can.
I used to say to my friends, what these guys are doing on the street begging. You know, that's what I used to say. And I saw what they were doing and I said to myself, well, that's not begging. Because they're playing music and people are giving them money, that's not begging.
I've been singing at Covent Garden for about 2 years. I saw the singers and I thought, wow, I can do that. I got an audition date in the North Hall. It was very basic, very raw, and luckily I got the job. You have a pitch for 25 minutes. The maximum you can do is 8 pitches per week, but there's so many singers and there's so many musicians that some weeks you might not get any work. Before I was really, really nervous about singing in public. And basically it was just having the guts just to get out there, take a deep breath and just sing. just fell into opera. It just felt natural. It felt really easy singing opera. I mean, when you hear opera, it sounds quite artificial, but for me, it feels very natural. You need to sing the opera pop numbers, the ones that people tend to stop and watch and listen. I think lots of the punters, they think that we're being paid for singing down there. So you really need to have somebody to collect for you, otherwise you won't be making any money. They don't realise we're not being paid and this is our livelihood.
The Celtic harp, it's a nice, convenient size to carry around. The beautiful thing about it is it's unique. You don't see many harpists. It's visual, and if it's tuned sweetly, which is most important, then you can't go too far wrong. The Celtic harp goes back to the 8th century, the lowlands of Scotland. The harpists were displaced and travelled to Ireland, and my father was from Killala Bay, County Mayo, and my mother was from Carsyveen on the Ring of Kerry. So being brought up from a young age on traditional Irish music, then it felt so natural to start to play a harp and then play traditional Celtic pieces. A lot of these stations, the way they're built, the acoustics is such that the sound will travel so far in the distance that the public can actually hear you for a long way off. And members of the public have come along, they said, I heard it in the distance, I couldn't quite make out if it was a piano or not. When you're actually playing, there's a sacred area around you. The people who are appreciative of you will come forward and say, oh, that's beautiful. That karma of music that's around you, it attracts the positive spirits and it repels the negative spirits.
choo-choo, choo-choo. Here's a little song I wrote. Might wanna sing it out from no, don't worry. Be happy. Every life we have some trouble. When you worry, you make it double down. Be happy. The first time I busked was with a guitar player that asked me to join him. And I remember by the end of the session, we counted our money and I thought I just made like, I don't know, probably 25 quid or something. And I thought, that's good, you know, I really enjoyed it. And for me, it's just better than just having a job or working as a waitress. What's the point if you can practice and get paid for it? Your landlord says your rent is late, he might have to leave again. But don't worry, be happy. The relationship between you and your audience is a direct relationship because if they like it, they give you money. If they don't like it, you don't get paid. A lot of people are walking down those tunnels and their heads are down and a lot of them look like they're having the worst day ever and they're traveling on a tube. And then I think if they hear someone singing that song to them, it's almost like a reminder of it's okay, don't worry, be happy. Here's a little song I wrote. You might wanna sing it note for note. Don't worry, be happy.
There's a pie in the sky, just waiting for me when I die. But between the day you're born and when you die, no one ever seemed to even hear your cries. But as sure as the sun will shine, I'm gonna get my share right now, what's mine. Oh, the harder they come, the harder they fall, one and all. The harder they come, the harder they fall, one and all.
When I first started, it seems like everyone's doing the same thing. You know, I was into reggae music. I got a little small 4-track. I tipped in my own bass and my own drums and my own keyboard, and I just sing and play.
In the sky, just waiting for me when I die. But between the day you're born and when you die, no one ever seemed to even hear your cry.
I started in Covent Garden, but then afterwards I moved down to Piccadilly. Then I moved outside of Piccadilly Circus. Then I headed for Leicester Square. And then they banned Leicester Square. Ended up back in Covent Garden. It started to get overcrowded and everything, and I moved to South Bank.
The harder they come, the harder they fall, wanna know.
I'm not signing on or anything like that. So, you know, I've got to survive. I've got to make my money. Just to earn a few pennies, you know. That's how I've been surviving, you know.
The harder they fall, one and all. The harder they come, the harder they fall, one and all.
London's greatest street musicians, Unplugged.
We always knew the general public liked to hear music on the underground, and moves were made originally in the late 80s, early 90s to try and put a scheme together that would work. But there was actually a statute in the bylaws that didn't allow any musician to play on the London Underground or any railway network across Britain. This got changed in the mid-90s when the Railways Act was changed, and May last year we managed to put the licensed busking scheme into place. We hold auditions every 2 weeks. We see about 30 to 40 people, and we get a vast variety of musicians.
What good is sitting alone in your room? Come hear the music play. Alive, alive, oh, oh. Alive, alive, oh, oh. Crying cockers and buskers. Alive, alive, oh.
We have a judging panel that's made up of people from London Underground and some people from the music industry.
I first set my eyes on sweet Molly Malone. I never thought I'd come to this. What's it all about?
Come on in tonight, tonight, tonight. Hello, come on, baby. Tonight, tonight. Won't you help to sing?
Someone told me that they were actually giving licenses, so I went to the audition day. I thought, why not? You know, I can sing and play. You know, I don't want to sound arrogant or anything, but it's not like pop idol or anything.
All those girls from all those magazines are smiling at her. Oh, they're pretty, truly they're happy. Run away, nothing here is worth it. People on the cheap line, checking their reflections. Avoid your religion, forget about your past. None of it matters, none of it lasts. She had other dreams, but they call them stupid.
There's no musical background at all in my family. My father has been in the army for 7 years, and then he left and he joined the police force. And my mother, she's a clinical nutritionist. I was always encouraged to go into a secure job, just like they did. And in general, in the Israeli society, you finish high school, you go to the army. There's not even a question about it. I started as a paramedic. A few months later, I went and I trained as an officer. It was a very responsible job, and I enjoyed it because at that age, if you don't have to deal with actually fighting, you don't really think why you're there. You just do it. I do have a problem with authority. And I found it very difficult to get orders from people, which sometimes I didn't agree with. But my father, he promised me a ticket to Europe if I become an officer. And on the day that I got my rank, he handed me the ticket. It was obvious to him that she's not going to stay, is she? And that was it, you know. And so I came here. I just said, look, I'm going to stay here for a while. And my parents, it was very hard for them. Till today, it's really hard for them. I had such a passion to stay in London and to make something in the music business and to live that kind of life. I had that picture in my head, and that kept me going all the time. When I had nothing, you know, I didn't know any musicians. You know, I just had my guitar, I could sing, and that's it, really.
Every day she wakes up feeling empty, it's right or it's wrong, nothing means nothing at all.
I'm studying at university. I decided to take a degree just to be able to earn a living. I just can't put all my eggs in one basket and think, oh, I'm going to have this fantastic singing career. And in the next 5 years' time, be in the same situation, going for auditions and not being successful. And also, I've got my two young daughters, and it's really hard to balance it all. When I first started busking, Tony was horrified. That's my eldest daughter. Absolutely horrified. She hid in the shops. Tony's a teenager. She's got more of an image thing going on. Whereas Robin, she was really excited and she's really encouraging. Right, darling, see ya. I haven't really got enough time to practice properly. My singing teacher, she really wasn't happy with me busking because the effect it has on your voice. You're singing in the cold, that's not good for your voice. And also the amount of jobs you're doing, sometimes you can be singing like 8 times a week. Now if you're doing that on top of university and you're looking after your family, you can get very, very tired and you can pick up really bad habits. I feel as if I'm always juggling. I should be really concentrating on just my singing career. I shouldn't really be doing the university or be busking as much as I am busking, but I have to busk to earn a living.
stimulation getting so high. Summer we cannot even find a little job to do. Now we gotta draw so hard. Our stimulation is getting so high. Whoa, 'cause we're living like a warrior. Yeah, we're living like a warrior.
I have earned something like 50 in a day, you know, but it's not a guarantee every day, especially if they have a buskers there, you know. But the thing is, when I go home, I put 10 away, I buy my little food or whatever, I pay my little rent or whatever, my little rent, because I'm getting help from the housing benefit people. That's the only thing I ask them for. I tell them I don't want no money, because I told them about busking and everything. So I'm legal. When I was signing on, I started to go crazy, because it's like I'm sitting there and it's like I'm not doing nothing, I'm just sitting there. I told them, look, listen, I'm doing busking and everything and all that stuff. I can't be in this stage of my life. I can't sit down and listen you telling me the facts of life, because I've lived my life on the streets. You wait until when I'm in my 40s to come and tell me about the facts of life. Come on. When I needed help, you guys never wanted to help me. I was born in Plasto. My dad took me to Dominica. I think I came back to England when I was about 15, 16. I think I spent maybe, if anything, a year and a half at school, and it was time for me to leave school. So, and then from then, I left home. I was in care for a while. You know, it's complicated. It's very complicated. The music side of things came on my mother's side. She used to have a band, and then the band split, and then she ended up in Germany teaching, and she's been there ever since. So I told my mother, I've been busking, and my mother told me, I'm not doing anything wrong. They said, that is how you get discovered, right? But then, obviously, somebody that knows my father saw me doing it, and my dad told me. And I could see the devastation on his face, and I had to tell him no. I had to explain to him, and he's got used to the idea now. But it's not in his blood, because it's begging to them. And to most West Indian people, you know, since he come in this country, he's worked all his life now, and you know, and everything. And we're not brought up that way to go and beg on the streets.
Boy, mama, boy, papa, boy, brother, yeah. Yeah, we gotta survive. Oh yeah, boy, mama, boy, papa.
For a year after leaving school, I worked in a pathology lab, and suddenly had a feeling that it was a temporary work path. Really, accountancy was the road to follow. When I finished my 4-year training contract, I went into practice management, and the salary package was in 1985. This would be 20,000 a year, company car, and quite a secure way of life. I was in charge of about 8 account staff who were keeping purchase ledger, sales ledger, basically overseeing the day-to-day running of the accounts department. One day I left the office, train had been cancelled, and then I looked across the departures board and saw that the train to Newhaven, which would connect with the ferry to Dieppe, would be leaving in 15 minutes. So I then bought a ticket for the train to Newhaven, wearing my suit, briefcase, no passport, and when I got to Newhaven I bought a sailing ticket to Dieppe. And eventually I was let through and caught a train to Paris on the Monday morning. I telephoned the office and said that I wasn't feeling too good, and I actually ended up having 3 weeks in Paris. I think this is what life is about, doing things on the spur of the moment. If there's a certain thing going on in your life, stress-related, you have to deal with it naturally, organically, and that's the type of person I am. I joined this firm of civil engineers under a contract basis. They were very happy with me, and then I received a letter offering me the position of full-time accountant. And the letter stayed in my drawer in the office and I didn't really reply to it. That resulted in the partner of the firm saying that he really wanted a full-time commitment, which I didn't accept. I was so happy that afternoon I was going to leave the office, came into Oxford Street. I felt such a burden lifted from me. Thursday, the 29th of March, 1989. This was the day. I'm no longer an accountant. Very positive feel about you are going in a direction. You'll go busking, you'll go abroad busking, you'll do what you make of it. It's your decision. How far you get with it is up to you. On the Thursday, I'd walked out the office. That was the last day of accountancy. And on the Friday, I went out busking.
Busking and begging are completely different things. You can't even put them in the same sentence as far as I'm concerned, for the very simple fact that busking is very hard.
Very easy for people to say, oh, why don't you get a job? But hang on a minute, you just said that. You just passed me by and said, get a job. Would you come here and sit down and play this instrument? I don't think you would.
I sometimes think, oh God, I'm a busker. You just think of all the old sort of stereotypes of buskers, of people begging for money.
Most of the musicians, mostly in the music business now, they have to thank the buskers. I'm sure most of the musicians, apart from the high society ones, they must have done busking once in their lifetime. You know, I've had a good relationship with the people the people in the London Isle. I've had, right? But unfortunately, because of the music. Now, what I like to say to these people, I mean, I spoke to the manager. He's been a very nice guy with me and everything, and that, right? But if I am loud, right, it's because I'm standing behind the speaker. The reason why I'm standing behind the speaker is because of the equipment I have at the back. But I'm sure there can be some sort of arrangement because I feel free when I play in the South Bank. I went back to Covent Garden, yeah, it's the same old thing. They're moaning about the noise of the music.
Gone are the days, it seems, that buskers are just playing an acoustic guitar. We've now got people playing amplified guitars. Now, very talented though they are, it's that really which causes the noise nuisance. And once a noise nuisance has been established, the local authority is obliged by law to serve an abatement notice.
Just let me play, because, you know, I mean, what is the point of having another person in jail, wasting taxpayers' money, when I have the talent to sing and I write my songs and everything? The South Bank is the perfect place for me to play. I'm willing to go by rules, by the rules, but they shouldn't stop me from playing because it's not, you know, because it's not, you know, I don't want to go back and sign on. I don't want to live off other people's money, man. You know, people's hard working money. When I can go out there and sing and try and see if I can get somewhere. They shouldn't take that away from me. And they shouldn't blame me. They shouldn't put the blame on me.
Very raw piece of singing, and I think with my voice it suits that, because I don't think my voice is a very pretty voice, and I think it just suits that to a T.
Potentially she's got the voice to be an international singer. The problems, of course, are that there's about 1 million other sopranos out there who also have the potential to be international opera singers. She needs to get a handful, 4 or 5 arias in different languages up to a really good standard so that she can go and sing for agents, conductors, directors, things like that. And she's got to be able to put aside enough time to do it. And, you know, with her responsibilities, that's really difficult. And she's doing the university course in case it doesn't work out. And, of course, the danger with that is this is exactly the time that she should be doing all the professional stuff for the singing. It's a bit of a catch-22 situation. She's got kids to bring up. I wouldn't like to be in her situation and have to make those choices.
high school, I used to listen to a lot of, indie music, and London was always like the capital kind of music to me. So when I came in 2001, I wanted to be part of it. This is now the first time I feel that we actually have a sound that I'm happy with. I think the fact that we all come from different places makes it interesting because the influences are very different. Laura comes from Argentina, Matt grew up in America, and then Bal brings his Brazilian spice. The band has been together for a few months, but we've had our guitarist for 3 weeks only, and we have this gig booked, and so we have to be ready. It is a very challenging mission because we have to have a half-an-hour set. And yes, you try to believe that everything is gonna be alright. And the sky is blue and the birds are singing. Why am I feeling so down? Why am I feeling so down? Why am I feeling so down? The plan is to make an album and sell millions. I mean, if you don't aim high, you never get there.
I've got no regrets about leaving accountancy. That part of my life, I think it was a great learning process. It started to become repetitive. And the thing about playing music, it's such a wonderful feeling that you're playing something that people appreciate. And there's very little stress attaching to it. At the end of the day, you finish playing and you haven't got those problems of clients saying, oh, tomorrow I want this particular cash flow completed. Every day is a new day. And I'm making a living from it. Some of the site managers have said to other buskers, oh, Peter used to be an accountant. Ask him about which expenses you could claim. I'll tell them the basis, simple answer of what can be claimed and what you should do. But the correct professional advice is seek the services of a practicing accountant. I used to be an accountant. I'm now a busker.